Hey, it's Mac with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and it's Thursday, it's June 5th. This will be a chart lesson for today, and this will wrap up our week. No chart lessons on Friday, so uh, let's take a quick look at our daily chart to get started. You can see we had a big down day today. It's pretty much down all day from the get-go, and we had a little more volume today, picked up a little more steam today. So we'll see where we go from here, but definitely a down day today. So we could be topping out here. It's hard to say. We're definitely, into overbought territory. We relieved a little bit of that today, so we'll see what tomorrow brings. But yeah, let's flip over to our 2,000 tick chart. Take a look at what that chart looks like and go through the trades, and we'll wrap this week up. Okay, here's our 2,000 tick chart. You can see we had some high volatility news at 7:30 this morning, so I'll block that out. And you can see it did have a big effect on the price movement. But we sold off after that, then recovered 90% of that, if not all of it. I talk about this a lot. When you see these big, crazy news items and you get a sell off like that, it's, within an hour or 2 hours, you're usually taking it all back and the market kind of resets and starts over. But in this case, we get this big spike and channel down, and this channel pretty much lasts all day into the close. We didn't quite close on the low, but we were close. So just a bearish day today. There's short-term moves within the bigger two-tiered spike and channel down here. So, but let's zoom in, go through the trades we've got set up here, and we'll wrap this day up. We'll wrap this week up. Okay, 7 o'clock came right in here, and then 7:30 was where right in here somewhere, probably on that bar right there, and that's where it rocketed up. So you pretty much had to block all that out, and we'd kind of settled back down around right in this area here by say 7:51. So about 20 minutes later, we were pretty much back to normal price action. Um, we did make a lower high here off of this original high, but I don't think you want to go short there. And then we're just kind of chopping sideways. But notice how we tested that high multiple times. Finally got a chance to go short right here. Closes back inside the range, but we've got plenty of room to get out. Good signal bar. I like going short there. You don't know that it's going to break lower and keep going like that. That's your hope. But at the very minimum, you should get an easy scalp out of that going to the other side of the range. And if it keeps going, then maybe you get more. And in this case, you probably would have got more. You should have got a runner out of that one. And depending on how you managed it, you could have ran it all the way to the bottom of this spiking channel here. So anyway, that's just two sideways there. We work up here. You get a first entry and then a lower high and a second entry. Signal bar is close, but I think it closes in the lower 1/3, so go short right there. And it bounces again. That's just a first entry and then the second entry. It's almost a repeat pattern somewhat. The problem with this one is the low is a little further away than here, so you moved a good bit and couldn't come back close enough to that for to really call that a lower high safely. But there is a new low right there, and it's a first entry, second entry. It is right off the EMA. I marked it green. I think if it breaks lower there, you're probably gonna get a scalp out of it. It's not a perfect setup, but I think it's close enough to at least call it green. And then we bounce again, first entry, second entry, and it's clearly just two legs up of correction. I like going short one tick below this bar just to ride it back to the EMA, and if it goes lower, then so be it. And then it ends up looking like we're just working sideways. And you can clearly see that we tried to test that resistance there once, twice, 3 times. And then we got a nice signal bar to the downside. You do need room to scalp out there, so make sure you got that. If you do, just go short there. And I think there's a couple of points worth there or something. I'm trying to remember exactly what there was there. Yeah, a point and 3 ticks, so you got plenty of room there. And then you get a triple test here, but I don't think that signal bar is good enough, and there's not a lot of room back to the highs. It takes off, but you just can't risk that. So you get this close outside. Actually, you get it here with a couple legs to a new high and then a decent signal bar way away from the EMA. You really need to wait on a lower high here, but you don't always get one. In this case, you don't. So, but you could have been a little more aggressive if if you understood what's going on, and maybe you take that trade. I marked it green. Turns out to be another great move down, and it does make a new low down here. I'm pretty sure it makes a new low. Let me just 57.50, and this one's 59.58. What did I say this one was? 57.50, 58. Well, it didn't quite make a new low. So, but then it bounces, and you get two legs up. There's a second entry short here when it breaks below this bar right here. You probably could argue that that's closes in its lower 1/3. It's probably close. So maybe you take that second entry short. But it bounces early, takes off. There's no setup there, though. We're still in this channel. It just reverses it. And again, you get two legs up, so another second entry way away from the EMA. This time it's a very bearish bar, so I think you can take that one. I like it. Maybe you'll get a lower high here, and you don't. You just get you might argue, hey, there's a double top there, and treat it like a lower high, but that signal bar is too bullish. And it runs down. You get a channel working down, close outside, move to a new low, and it reverses. And there's a really nice signal bar there on a first entry, second entry long. And this thing just kind of takes off. Pulls back here. That's just a first entry. First entry. Looks like there is a second entry right there. But there's no setup there. It's too congested. You just sit tight and wait for that to play out. It comes back to the channel here. But this makes at this point, the channel, the little range is more like this. So this is like a failed breakout. It doesn't quite close back inside. Maybe you take that trade, but I think you have to wait on something better than that. And it runs up here, and you're just getting kind of stuck at the. At first, it looked like this was the highs, but you can tell by the time you push through there a couple of times that there's probably a midline or something going on there. But notice by the time you get to here, you've made the one low, you made a second low. So this is a triple test. I like going long above that. Takes off, runs to the top, and then we're just chopping sideways again. It does make a new high here. It's still less than the high on the prices actually traded here, but as far as closes, where closes have closed, it makes a new high here. And you might take that trade. I'm not crazy about it, but there's reasons to consider that trade. And the bottom just kind of falls out of it, runs all the way down. Then it works its way up. And that's just a first entry, in my opinion. And then you get a second entry when it breaks below either one of those bars, but neither one of them really qualify. So you might say, okay, there's a lower high here, but again, I'm not crazy about that one. I think we've moved too far. Prices have moved too far there. But they make a new low for the moment right here, and then we get a very weak attempt to go higher, and it turns down again. And you might argue that there's a failure reversal type pattern, but it's not really where you're looking for one. So I just don't think you can mark that. Even though you do get a nice move off that, it's a shame you couldn't catch it. Then we're working sideways again. We get a failed breakout. Turns down right off the key entry point, but I think there's too much stem there. Failed break lower. We're back in the range again. But here you finally get another test of the highs that can't go outside 3 times. And so I think it's okay to take a short right there. And then, of course, it does bounce. Okay, I had a little interruption there. I think we were talking about this trade. Um, we're just back in the range. We do get a break and a move down. We didn't quite make a new low, and it just kind of reverses. Now, this is a reversal pattern. I'm not crazy about it. It is where you're looking for a reversal. You got a double bottom and then two higher lows in a row there. And it is a failed second entry short that's probably going to trap some people if it breaks higher. And you can see it didn't quite get enough momentum on that first break higher, but when it couldn't go any lower, suddenly people poured in and this thing went higher. Then you're just kind of working sideways. Failed break lower, lower high, and a nice signal bar right off the key entry point. I like going short there. Pretty nice move down. And then we're just, again, stuck going sideways, and you got another triple test with a nice signal bar. As long as you got room to scalp out before these lows, you could take that. And this thing tends to take off and runs to a new low. But notice you had your break outside, move to a new low, and then it reverses on you. And I don't see any chance to enter this one all the way up, and then you're just kind of sideways here. Then we just we turn down off that trend line, then we just kind of work sideways there. That signal bar, you can't go long there. It's in that back in that tight range. And then we get in another range. Again, I don't see anything there you can take. Same thing here. And finally, we're selling off and bouncing off the lower trend channel line down here. Again, you don't want to be trying to go long at the lows of a downtrend that are chopping sideways like that. So you just have to kind of sit tight, and then suddenly it breaks out of there, and that takes us into 230. So it's pretty weak from just before 2 o'clock, 1:30. From about 1:30 on, there just wasn't much happening. So there it is. Let me back out and show it to you again. Again, it looked like it was going to be another range day early probably, but then we sold off here. And we almost closed. We closed very close to the lows. So it's an average trading day. A lot of mixed trading here, which makes it more difficult at times. So, but there it is. That's how I saw it today. I'm going to let that wrap up our week or wrap up our day. Not much else I can say about this day. But I appreciate people holding the emails, and we've getting some, things are picking up a little bit in the forum. We've got quite a few people that are taking advantage of the free 30-day option, and it's out there. If you've ever purchased a manual from us, or if you purchase one, the price action manual that is, if you purchased that in the past or you purchase one going forward, you can sign up for the free 30-day forum only. It's just for the forum. It doesn't get you into the membership area, just the forum. I highly recommend the membership area because of the video lessons and the option that you get the mid-morning chart and so forth. But if you don't need that anymore and all you need is the forum, you can sign up for the free 30 days. And then if you like it, you can pay the $10 per month and become a permanent member. Also, I probably don't mention it enough, but we do have, if you're new and you're struggling with the second entries, we do have a second entry indicator that helps you spot the second entries. So take a look at that. That's on the front, go to the front page of the website, and it's up near the top. You'll see a link to it. But there it is. I'm going to wrap it up. That's going to do it for the week. Going to do it for the day. I'll see you Monday. I'm done for today. This is Mac with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and we'll see you next time.